going, y'all? Welcome back to the chaos. If you're new here, I'm Ryan, and before we actually head to Toxic Customs to check on my 2008 Dodge Viper, because they're the ones doing the front end conversion on the car, I wanted to point out, so from the last video, I was going through like the stock, inner bash bar, that kind of thing, and I forgot to mention something that the shop pointed out to me. So I knew before I even bought the car, because if you are new around here, I bought the car sight unseen from Texas. So obviously, like on the Carfax, that kind of thing, like I knew a little bit of the history, and they gave me the rundown from the previous owner. So it had been in a collision, like it actually been backed into, so it like cracked the front bumper and cracked the fog light. So I knew the front bumper had been resprayed. I just didn't know it had been resprayed poorly. So I'll show you what I mean here in a second, but it looks like they've actually had painted the front bumper due to all the overspray on the car. Looks like they painted the front bumper while it was actually attached. So instead of like either masking it off really well and then painting it, or just pulling the bumper off and painting it, they just decided to wing it and I guess take the cheap route and just spray it on the car. But I'm at least thankful the headlights are untouched, but I'll show you our inner bash bar and show you how bad it is. And it's not the only place, unfortunately. It's kind of on the frame and all kinds of stuff, but the part that we can actually see right now is on the inner structure. So let's take a look at that and then we'll run to the shop. Yeah, looking at our inner structure, and this is where the ducting goes, and you can see the blue shows up pretty good, I feel like, on camera. But yeah, I hate that. That shouldn't be like that. That's not how you paint a car. Same goes for the plastic ducting itself. You can kind of see the blue shimmer to it in there. That definitely shouldn't be blue up in there. Enough playing around with all these old parts. Let's go check out the car, see what kind of progress they've made. Honestly, I'm not expecting too much just because I was up there a couple days ago, but prior to filming last video, they had actually given me a heads up that one of the air ducts that we had purchased, because we got one, kind of lucked up, we got one brand new and one used, because couldn't find them both new at the time. Well, the used one we thought was gonna work, but it's busted, so like the bung in order to connect to the fender liner, that's messed up. So I'd rather have the peace of mind, like they kind of rigged it up and they don't think it'll go anywhere. But yeah, just that peace of mind to know that it's brand new, 100%. Won't have to worry about it, finagle with it anytime in the future. I just went ahead and picked up a new one. They were back in stock from Dodge, so we're gonna run that up to the shop and just kind of see what they have accomplished in a couple days. For the driver's side, as this bung up here was actually busted, it was kind of gnarled out, so picked up a fresh one because the previous one we got off eBay, yeah, unfortunately it had some damage up here. We need this bolt because I think the shop was actually able to utilize and make the stock location work. Made it home now from Toxic Customs. I was actually very impressed with the amount of progress they've made, because like I said before, this was more of like a parts run because we had just been up there a couple days ago, so I didn't know what to expect. But they've actually hammered it out, and they've got the Cleco clips, at this point I'm happy to report, are completely gone. So they were able to get it fully plastic welded as far as like the top of the Gen 4 bumper now grafted to the Gen 5 lower. They still have those wheel arches, which he's still hopeful, he just hadn't got to it yet, but he's still hopeful he's gonna be able to use those stock Gen 4 pieces to complete that wheel arch. And then that should be it, because once he gets those wheel arches done, that aluminum filler panel will be a piece of cake. So that's all that's left for the front bumper. So I'm excited because we're getting very close to paint at this point. And then kind of a little added bonus, they already have my badges on. So, and I was kind of torn when I initially bought those badges whether I wanted to go black or blue, like stealthy blue, and not be able to see any of the Viper badging on the side. Especially on the back bumper, there are blue badges. So I think it says Dodge on one side, Viper on the other, but I kind of played it doing blue on the side. But since we did the spoiler satin black, the lower valence black, the fuel cap black, I figured kind of the black badging would tie in. And now that I see it in person, I'm glad I went with the black decision. So got rid of pretty much all the chrome off the car, so I'm very thrilled about that. And it's funny because when I walked up to the car, I was so focused on the front bumper because this is the first time I've seen it without any rivets or Clico clips or that kind of thing. I was so focused on that, I didn't even notice the badging on the side. He had actually pointed out to me, but that's good because it's subtle, and that's kind of what I wanted. I don't like anything like that silver was just boom in your face, too standoutish to me. I'm gonna kind of treat this as like a mini update because I don't want to keep teasing y'all and dragging y'all along. But so a few days, hopefully we'll be able to go back and see those wheel arches complete, and at that point she'll be 100% ready for paint. So I'm gonna pass it to future Ryan when we're heading to the shop to see the final product. I appreciate it, past Ryan. I'm actually up early this morning. I set my alarm and I was actually up with so much excitement before the alarm went off. But I got the call yesterday evening that the car was finalized, got those wheel arches done. So we are off to check it out for the last time before it heads off to the spray booth. So let's get going.
Starting route to Toxic Customs.
So we've actually made it to Toxic Customs for hopefully the last time. So let's get in there and see the final product before she heads to paint. Just finished checking out the car, so there is actually a little more work. I thought they were like done with the car, but there's a little more work. But yeah, the last time we'll actually see the car in this condition. So the next time we come up here will be to pick it up. So like I said, let's run home and then I'll kind of break down what all they have accomplished and then just a few little tiny tweaks they have left. We're back home from Toxic Customs now. I'm a little disappointed that I actually didn't get to see it like in its final form before it did hit the paint booth, but they're like 98% done. So they were just finishing up. They had the one side, the passenger side, fully like tacked down with the plastic welding. They were finished with that, and they're actually working on like the aluminum filler template. The driver's side, he didn't quite get done before I got there, so he just had a little more plastic welding to do, and then I think once you make the template for the one side, it should work for the other. So, but that's just gonna be a piece of aluminum, cut it out. And then the way that it's gonna bolt in, since it's utilizing, he was able to reuse those Gen 4 wheel arches, it's gonna utilize like the factory bolt locations. So it's just gonna be kind of sandwiched in between the wheel arch and the fender liner. So that'll fill up that gap. So that way when you look up in the fender liner, it just looks natural. You won't notice any difference. So everything is retaining as much of the factory locations as possible. So I love that. I'm very excited that this project is coming to a conclusion. So I really appreciate all of those that have followed the journey all the way through. If you are new here and just seeing it for the first time, I'll link the entire playlist down below because it has been quite a journey. And I know the saying is it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but man, in this case, it's the destination. I want my car back. So this is my dream car and I just want to drive it around and enjoy it. But I appreciate everybody watching. If you have any questions or comments, I like to interact with y'all, so drop those in the comment section below. But thanks again for watching, and make sure to smash that subscribe button, and we'll catch y'all in the next one.